We are an independent, third-generation family coffee roastery, and we've been here in Bristol since 1970. Our carbon journey started off with really simple things. So when we redid this space, we changed all the lighting to LED lights, nice and easy. We put in a super new efficient heating system, loads of really good insulation throughout it. And then about a year ago, we actually put in solar panels. We were also really lucky to get a grant through the West of England Combined Authority, which really helped us to cover some of the costs. They now actually produce the total amount of electricity that we would use in a year. Of course, it's a little bit different with each season, which is why we actually have battery storage. All of these elements have made massive differences, but now we're having to think a little bit differently and a little bit harder to make changes that give, incremental gains. We've then started to think about packaging options because we're sending out a lot of coffee, so small little changes can really make a massive difference. At the moment, our bags have a couple of different linings, which makes it quite difficult to recycle. With our next batch of bags, they're actually going to be fully recyclable. We found that by changing the box shape ever so slightly, we could go from fitting 7 kilos in a box to 8 kilos in a box. We're now actually using less cardboard, fitting more bags in per box, and also fitting more boxes in per van. So it's a little change like that that we're trying to think of, and we're constantly hunting down new ones. We now only go out delivering with full vans to make sure that it's as efficient as possible. And then we also do a route planner, so every single delivery is done in the most efficient way. All of our deliveries are done by electric vans, if they're on one of our routes. Everything on carrier is sent with DPD, who are newly carbon neutral. Anything in Bristol is actually sent now by bike with Zedify. We're really pleased with everything we've done so far, but of course, in our industry, there are still some really big challenges that we're going to have to overcome. The biggest one is probably the roaster. We have 4 roasters at the moment, and they all run on gas. There are electric roasters now, but at the moment, the largest you can get is about 20 kilos in a drum. Unfortunately, we need a roaster that's more sort of 150 kilos or so at a time. So it's a really difficult challenge. We're waiting. The technology is getting so much better. The plan is actually to trial an electric fluid bed roaster and see what the quality's like. The next big challenge is actually going to be trying to tackle our Scope 3 emissions. Obviously, coffee comes from all over the world, and it's incredibly difficult to find a way to transport coffee in a low-carbon way. We're also aware that it's not just a climate issue, it's also a massive social justice issue. I mean, the farmers in these coffee-producing regions are going to be among those hit hardest by climate change. Ultimately, we're in the hands of technology advancing. Until then, we're doing what we can with our suppliers at a local level. One farm in Nicaragua, we've actually helped to fund a new and super efficient sorting facility. It uses significantly less water, uses less power, and it also means that lorries are having to drive less distance to transport their beans from the farm to the sorting mill. Obviously, all of this is really good for the environment, but it's also been really good for our brand and for our business. Our customers really care about our supply chain, and it's fantastic that they can feel confident knowing that the coffee that they drink has been sourced ethically and sustainably. We really care about this. We've pledged to be carbon neutral by 2030. Of course, there'll probably end up being things we're going to have to carbon offset. We're going to keep hunting down every single way that we can reduce our carbon emissions.